Hey guys, I'm Phil Harris.
And I'm Ashley Harris.
We are Shred MX Conditioning, and we provide online fitness and nutrition coaching, as well as in-person riding clinics for riders and racers from local to pro.
Now, we're racers ourselves, so we'll be talking about all things moto on this channel, from motocross, fitness and nutrition, injury, prevention and maintenance, local races, amateur nationals, pro events, current happenings in the sport, and everything in between. So whether you're on the road or in the garage, turn it up and enjoy.
This is Shred MX Shop Talk. Hey guys, welcome back. We're here with episode 13, and we're just coming to you with a quick little tech tip. We're here today to talk about a little cardio for moto.
Yeah, so a lot of people always think when training for, motocross, riding dirt bikes, that their go-to is, I'm going to start running, which we've talked about quite a bit before with people. And not that, if you love to run, not that you shouldn't run, but a lot of us have bad joints already. So I tell people, if you don't love running, don't do it. But also just cardio in general is not the end-all be-all training tool for motocross conditioning. So I know we've talked about it, like when you were younger, hitting all the big races, training a bunch, you said that the only thing you knew to do was to run.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the big thing around moto is just do a ton of cardio. You got to have good cardio, which, I mean, we all agree, you do have to have good cardio fitness to, be able to go fast for a long period of time. You got to be able to breathe well and everything. So yeah, when I was younger, that's what I understood from everyone. So, we just ran, or that's mostly what I did when I was younger. I'd run. Most days I'd run probably 4 to 6 miles.
Yeah, and I know a couple of times you've said that, so obviously, back in that time, when you were 15, 16?
Yeah.
That would have been
early 2000s.
Yeah. So it's not like there was a lot of information or a good way to find information on how to train for riding. People were kind of just getting into that, the whole Ricky Carmichael
Yeah, we
era.
didn't have the whole social media thing. We weren't surfing around, and we didn't have, companies like ourselves and stuff out there giving tips and on fitness and nutrition and anything like that. There was honestly nothing. You just hear stories about, Carmichael or so and so's out just pounding miles on the road bike all the time, and they're just hammering down on cardio, and that's why they're so good.
Yeah, so that's you're okay, well, I need to do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know since you've been pretty consistent with working out in addition to riding and doing cardio, you've actually said to me a couple times that you wish I would have been around, or maybe my current version of myself would have been around when you were younger to help teach you kind of what to do for training.
Yeah, I definitely do. Looking back on it, there was plenty of times, I was doing tons of cardio, and I even rode most days, because we had a track in the backyard growing up. I was kind of spoiled, and I got to ride almost every day, or if I wanted to, pretty much every day, and was doing cardio and all that, and I would still be at the races, and I would still get tired in the races. I could moto down at home, or maybe with some people, but we go racing, and the intensity and everything, I had good cardio fitness, I was doing it all the time, and yeah, I'd still get into the motos and get tired, and I didn't understand why. And now, as I've gotten older, it's because I couldn't hold on. I understand I couldn't hold on to the bike that whole time. I was physically getting tired.
Right, your muscles were fatiguing.
Yeah, I was still being able to breathe. I was still getting air in and out fine. I wasn't heavily winded, but my body was kind of shot, trying to hold on to, especially because I was younger, and I moved up to the 450 pretty quickly. I was 16 on a 450.
Yeah, that's pretty young. You're pretty scrawny then.
Yeah, I was. I was probably 140 pounds.
Yeah. So I guess like one other thing too, you mentioned like the intensity of the races, obviously different than when you're training and riding at home and trying to get better. So obviously, like I just mentioned, cardio isn't everything when it comes to training and conditioning for riding. You got to have strength training too, but the strength training side of it is not what this episode is about. I wanted to talk about the different types of cardio. So again, back to you talking about intensity when you're racing. I wanted to mention, and I'm not going to get too into the scientific details of this because people will get bored, you included. So don't feel bad if you guys get bored on this stuff. Phil doesn't love hearing it either all the time, but he doesn't have a choice. So talking about like intensity and stuff, you actually have two different energy systems in your body. One that produces the energy that you need when you're really intense, but it burns out quickly. And then the other one, I call it like your low and slow energy system, kind of like your diesel fuel energy system, right? Like it's going to keep chugging along. Might not be the fastest, but you're going to keep going. So those two different energy systems, they're actually called anaerobic and aerobic, just meaning without oxygen and with oxygen. So again, brief science, anaerobic means without oxygen. That's going to be your fast energy system in your body. I always relate this to like you're in the middle of a moto, you're trying to put a pass on someone and you need to like push really hard for a couple turns to get up, get around them and make it stick, right? So that's your high intensity energy system, but it only lasts so long. You can only do that for so long. So think about like if you were racing, could you hold a pace like that the entire moto?
No, probably not.
No, you would gas out really quickly. So you make that push, you get around that person and try to fall back into a rhythm.
Right.
So that leads me to your aerobic energy system, meaning with oxygen, our low and slow energy, our diesel energy. So like you can put a pass on someone, but this is the energy system that's going to let you finish the actual race. Or even if you do get tired and have to scale the pace back a little bit, that's the energy system, the aerobic energy system is what's going to let you finish the race. Like you're not just going to fall over and be like, I am tired. Like I can't.
I'm just going to die right here.
Right, I can't do anything. Like our bodies don't work like that. So with that being said, there's two different ways to train those two different systems. So when we're looking at training the intensity side of it, the quick bursts, the I need to make a pass on this person, or even the first lap, gate drop, sprint to get out ahead of everyone, that high intensity, we actually use high intensity interval training type of cardio to trigger that system. So we want to spike the heart rate, maybe let it recover a little bit, spike the heart rate again, let it recover a little bit. But these are going to be short cardio workouts, maybe like a sprint for 60 seconds, break for 30, sprint for 60, those types of things. And it's much shorter in duration, maybe 10 to 15 minutes max, versus if we're training like the low and slow energy system, the aerobic energy system, we're going to be doing steady state cardio. So something that you can sustain for a while, 30, 45 minutes. We always program it differently based on, how long most people's motos are. Like our woods racers, they need more cardio, like a longer duration cardio than us moto racers who at the most
doing like 4 or 5 laps, so it's pretty much like a sprint race.
Right, like a long race for us is when they do 20 plus 2. That's a long race for us. But yeah, so that's your steady state. So we need to incorporate both there. And I think a lot of people, again, they think cardio, they think steady state because that's what's been known for years for motocross training. And again, we do need that. But in addition, we need to incorporate that high intensity energy system as well and make sure we're training it. One thing that also benefits with the high intensity interval training, it helps your body deal with lactic acid better. So when you're working out like that, or riding, racing, your body will build up lactic acid and it needs to be able to get rid of it. So when we're training in intervals, high intensity intervals, you're actually training your body to dispose of that lactic acid a little bit better. And you're training your body to deliver oxygen to your muscles better. So with all that being said, it used to be said that arm pump was caused by lactic acid. Not so much the thought anymore. It's more looked at like it's a influx of blood in your arms and it stays in there. But training your body to, for one, get rid of lactic acid, and two, deliver oxygen to your muscles better so it can clear the blood out of your arms, clear the lactic acid out of your arms, is only going to help in those situations. So again, that's the high intensity interval training type of cardio. The nice thing about training that cardio is it's quick. So while some people might be like, oh, well, I'm going to go on a 2-hour bike ride, that's great, but maybe tomorrow's workout's only 15 minutes because it's high intensity, and sometimes those are nice too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all in all, like, we incorporate both. I know we do a lot of stationary biking or mountain biking when we can get out. Mountain biking is really good for intervals. If you're, climbing hills and stuff, you have to have that ability to be able to push for 30 seconds to 2 minutes to climb a hill. And then you might have some cruising periods where you're coming down a hill. And
like spike the heart rate and then, all right, relax. And then, depending on the trail, it's like sometimes you're like coming down and you're like, oh, I'm just starting to relax. Nope. Now we're spiking again because we're climbing all over again.
Yep. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Almost like the confusion of the system. Like, no, we need to be able to produce this energy again right now. Whereas road biking, especially on flat roads, is going to be better for steady state because you can kind of hold one speed. But then when we're talking about doing it on a stationary bike, obviously you can ride the same speed on a stationary bike. Or if I'm doing intervals on a stationary bike, I just set it up for myself, like 3-minute warm up. I might do a 2-minute moderate pace, a minute sprint. Back it down to a moderate pace for 2 minutes again, a minute sprint. And kind of cycle back and forth between that to spike my heart rate. Obviously with running, you can do the same thing. Literally just sprint for 60 seconds and maybe jog for 2 minutes, sprint for 60 seconds. Like, it's just controlling your energy output when you're looking at high intensity interval training and getting yourself to your threshold. Now, again, just a quick podcast here to chat about cardio for motocross. Main takeaways, that's not the only thing you should be doing. But when you are doing cardio, make sure you're doing steady state cardio and make sure you're doing interval training. And if you take anything from this, just know that doing something is better than nothing. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you can do it consistently, it's going to help you a lot with your riding.
Yeah, a ton. And don't think that, like we were saying, like, don't think you have to go out and just pound miles on the road bike every day. Like, like you were saying, you got to mix it up and train those different
energy
systems. There you
go. Yeah.
So
yeah,
just a quick little podcast here. Just a little tech tip we wanted to give you guys and give you some information. So
yeah, hopefully it didn't bore you too much with the science side of it. Phil was over here yawning, but you guys didn't have to see that. But anyways, if you
nice thing about microphones.
If you guys do want more information or have questions or concerns, reach out. I really enjoy, if it's not an answer that I have, stored in my memory bank, I enjoy researching it and finding the answer. But I really am, a big nerd about this stuff, so I love it. So if you have questions, whatever, want to learn about something else, let me know. Happy to look into it and get you an answer.
Yeah, guys, reach out. We're always looking to help out.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure what's on our podcast agenda next, but I'm sure it'll be something fun. So stay tuned, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Later.